as always, this show is not done by myself alone. I have with me a very wonderful team of people, particularly the money man himself, Ugodre. Hello, Ugodre, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, Mr. Adu. How you doing?
Good. It's good to see you via the virtual platform. Haven't seen you since the whole Corona thing started. Yeah,
Yeah, I know. How you doing?
I'm
Have you
doing
been?
great, great. And I see you have someone joining you today, like a support.
Oh, yes. This must be the first time you're seeing
Yeah, I
Loretta.
was brought out of my nocturnal experience of nighttime radio, and I had to cover for Sadiq, who is not here today. So, I'm not so used to
All
seeing
right, all
things
right,
like
all right, all right. That's cool. So that's Loretta. Loretta is my
yeah, Loretta, the
partner
money lady. Oh yeah, I remember
partner in
Loretta.
finance. Partner in money.
Yeah, Loretta, good to have you here with us as well. All right.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, good morning. Okay, so as always, we are here to make sure that we allow you have a great conversation that will expose you to money matters, give you financial tips, and help you to guide you along the way, your path of becoming a very wealthy person with fat pockets. But of course, as always, to maximize the conversation, you have to send in your questions so that Ugodre and Loretta can go ahead and help you navigate your financial maze. And quite a number of people have already sent in their questions, and I'm just going to take a few of them. Now, if you want to join the conversation and send in your questions, please send it to the WhatsApp line. Perhaps you haven't gotten yours in early enough and we still have time. We'll try to attend to it. The WhatsApp number is 0809-234-5913. I'll repeat that again. It's 0809-234-5913. Having said that, let's get into the conversation. Now, first question here, Godre, is from someone who is asking about taxation. It says, "Hi, Ugo, can you explain why the government has increased taxation tremendously in the past 1 year?"
Isn't it obvious? The government needs money. That's why they've increased taxes over the last 1 year. We kind of saw this coming, not just over the last 1 year, 4 years ago
Right.
when the government came in. It was obvious that we had to increase the amount of money that we're getting from taxes. That's because Nigeria's tax to GDP ratio is one of the lowest in the world. There has been some discussion around perhaps maybe we should look more at diversifying the tax base rather than increasing tax rates. But it's apparent that when you look at taxes like VAT, Nigeria's VAT is perhaps one of the lowest, in Africa or in West Africa. So advocates of tax increases have cited this as one of their examples. So that's why you're seeing a lot of tax increases. And then there are some taxes that are not necessarily increases. They've been there for years. It's just that they've been kind of dormant, and the government is now reactivating these taxes again, sort of imposing it on all of us because they believe that's what we need to pay. So that essentially is why government is increasing taxes. So you can't get good roads, pipe-borne water, electricity, and things like that, or the kind of development that you want without taxes. And then for those of us, people like me, I kind of advocate taxes as the single source of revenue for government, because I feel when government relies only on taxes, they are a lot more accountable than when they rely on other sources of revenue like oil, like they currently do. Because when they rely on oil, then accountability is not really as firm as when they rely on taxes. Yeah.
But don't you think? Sorry, Loretta. But don't you think that if there is a widening of the tax bracket, it would be better than increasing taxes? For instance, the vulcanizer by the roadside, the barber by the shop, the hair salonist and the hairstylist, all the set of people who are not necessarily within the corporate tax bracket. How about we getting those people into the bracket rather than increasing taxes? What's your view on that?
Yeah, that's what some people have said as well, that that might be the best thing to do rather than just increase taxes unilaterally.
Mm,
But then remember that, like we got to be real to ourselves. About 50% of the economy is informal. And those guys as well pay some form of taxes. I mean, it could be mostly informal taxes, right? So they are probably paying levies and dues to motor park touts, to people, uniform local government agencies. And so in a way, they also pay some kind of taxes. Ordinarily, in some places, if you just want to cross a road or just want to go through a corner road, you still see some people with barriers and asking you to pay something. So people still pay taxes one form or the other. It's just that it doesn't just filter all the way to official coffers.
mm,
Yes, broadening the tax base makes sense, and a lot of work has been done in that direction. The FIRS
right.
partner with banks, partner with Corporate Affairs Commission, so they are really tightening the moves, and it's going to be difficult for people to evade taxes in the coming years. It doesn't mean people won't still evade it, but it's just going to be a lot more difficult to evade taxes in the coming years. And that's because the government also has seen that it needs to broaden its tax base as well. So that's it. I think, Loretta, you wanted to chip in something.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right.
I wanted to add that the real issue is that a lot of people are not paying taxes. For example, in 2018, only 30% of the working populace actually paid the taxes. So I believe their focus should be on seeking out ways to get people to pay taxes as opposed to increasing taxes. Like that should be their focus.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Loretta, for that. So there's another question here, quite intriguing, I must add. It says, hello, Ugodre and Loretta. Is it safe to invest in crowdfunding at the moment? The writer question is, will my money be safe?
Well,
Loretta, I think you should take this one.
a lot of crowdfunding companies who are majorly in the agricultural sector, because they get funds from different people, invest in farms, and then they tell you that you bring this amount over the next couple of months, probably the next 6 months, when we finish planting maize or whatever, you would get to some amount of percentage. However, there are so many regulations now just regulations pretty much trying to basically fine-tune how the process works in the crowdfunding space. So I believe they are safe as long as you find the ones that that are really transparent.
Okay.
It's still going on. People are still making money. The agricultural sector is still really lucrative. As long as you're with the right companies that have the right history, you will be fine actually.
All right. Sorry to piggyback on the tax issue. There's another question here by someone who's typing in and says, can a business charge VAT on transportation and logistics? I don't know if you want to quickly just respond to that.
Yeah, VAT is a tax on services. So yeah, it's possible that they can tax it. I'm not sure whether transportation is one of those things that are vatable, but it's basically on services, and there are a long list of things that the government can charge VAT on. But like I said, there are items that are zero rated VAT, which means you can charge VAT on them, but the government has decided to make it 0%. So you don't have to pay any taxes. So directly to answer your question, yes, it's possible.
Okay, so I have two questions here that are kind of in the same scope. So I'm just going to take them together so both of you can answer them. So they're two separate questions, but they're in the same scope of thought. So just take them together. So the first person says, aside from money market investments, what other alternative forms of investment can I capitalize on in Nigeria? Now, the second individual says, Ugodre, can a retail investor invest in bonds and commercial papers, and how? So they're kind of in the same scope. So I don't know who wants to go
All right,
first.
so Loretta, take the first one, then I take the second.
Okay, sorry, remind me what the first one was.
The first one was, aside from the money market investment, what other alternative forms of investment can I capitalize on in Nigeria?
Oh, there are so many. I mean, there's the stock markets, there are agro funds, there are mutual funds. There's a whole lot. So I believe what the person should know is, what is my objective? What am I trying to achieve? And when you say money market, if you're comparing with the money market, you're probably looking for secure forms of investments where your capital is safe. However, you also know that your interest rates will be low. Aside the money market, I'm not sure how many other safe investments are there, if that's what you're looking for. So there's so many. I mean, define your objective, know how much you want to start with, and you have a whole bouquet of options to choose from.
Okay, so Ugodre, the second person was asking, can a retail investor invest in bonds and commercial papers, and then how?
So you can invest in bonds and commercial paper if you are a high net worth individual. Okay. So, and yeah, you could fall in the bracket of a retail investor, but you've got to be really high net worth, because these are investment products that are sold at very high entry prices. But if you still want to participate in this kind of funds as a retail investor, you might have to go through a mutual fund, right? So there are mutual funds out there that you can invest through. So if you go through a mutual fund, then definitely you can access bonds and commercial papers. But if you just walk in as Mr. Adu, Mr. Fine Guy Adu, I just want to buy commercial paper, they're just going to they might just show you the door.
But that's because they don't know what's in my bank account,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But they will ask you though, and if they find out what's in the bank account, it's less
I'm just kidding. No, please, nobody should look for me. Else they say, "Oh wow, Adu has a fat bank account." I was just joking. Okay. Another question here is from someone who's asking about the CBN. Okay, so it says, "Hi, Ugodre, with the CBN's plan to float the naira, what benefit will it really provide? Because the exchange rate keeps rising."
The CBN is not planning to float the naira. I mean, Loretta, are they planning to float the naira?
I'm surprised as well. I wasn't sure.
They're not planning to float the naira. What is the exchange rate? So they want to have, because today we have multiple exchange rate windows. You have the CBN exchange rate, you have the exchange rate for BDCs, you have the exchange rate for people who are importing, that's traders who import. And then you have the exchange rate for people who are exporting, and then investors who are bringing in, dollars into the country. So they're just multiple exchange rates. So what the CBN wants to do is converge all of them. However, if we just want to speak to floating the exchange rate itself, it does has its advantages and disadvantages. So the advantages is that you can plan better. You can't just wake up tomorrow and then the government just decide what price it wants exchange rate to be. So you can hedge your forex exposures. Exchange rate is more volatile to an extent, and that means it just goes up and down and reacting to the forces of demand and supply. So exchange rate immediately just turns out to be not that thing that sort of drives every single decision making that we do in the country, and that's the advantage of floating here. So people don't have to always just wait. Are they going to devalue or not? Because now it's not someone's decision, it's just collective decision, it's the decision of the market. And then there's that price discovery, right? So it just gives you an idea of what exactly the price is, or the rate, the value of the naira is. Now, the disadvantage for floating exchange rates, by the way, is that in periods of economic turmoil, where foreign investors are fleeing out of your country, the exchange rate could depreciate astronomically. Right, it could get out of control as well, and that's what countries like Nigeria fear a lot, when the exchange rate gets out of control, and then people can't, and prices of goods and services just skyrocket. So, but there are conventional ways of managing these things. It could be that the government can also be a major supplier in the exchange rate market, and by being a major supplier, it means the CBN itself can go and sell forex, just so that they can control the price to an extent, right? Just the same way everybody does, right? If you're a big player in the market, you can always dictate the price to that extent. So that's what's called managed float, and I think that's probably what the CBN might do, the managed float, where yes, it's floating the naira, but it still plays a big role in determining the price, and that's because the CBN is probably the largest single importer of forex in the country. So based on that, it can to an extent decide or determine the range he wants the dollar to go. But in terms of economic turmoil, that is a bit more difficult because then uh, demand often outweighs supply. So that's really it. So CBN, no, they're not doing it. They're not doing floating. What they
Okay,
want to
but
do is
there's
private
another
sector.
CBN question here, though. But this is about someone asking, saying, Adu, please, can you ask Ugodre why the CBN is delaying the disbursement of COVID-19 loans after meeting all documentation process and signing up offer letters? Well,
I think Loretta has the answer to that, not me.
Loretta, do you work with the CBN?
No, to be honest, the answer, I don't work with CBN. However, I'd written an article on nairametrics. I carried out research, asked a couple of people, and they said we got to the end, and they said congratulations. Some of them said congratulations, we've gotten it, but we didn't hear anything. A couple of months later, some people said they said we should pay for something, something, something. So we really don't know so much about it, and but there are, however, people who have gotten these loans. There are, I mean, I don't want to call names, but a couple of individuals and small businesses have gotten these loans. In recent time, I don't know if they stopped at some point, but yeah, at this point, we really don't know what's happening. Generally.
Okay, cool. There's another question from a lady here by the name Esther. She says that she has 200,000 naira in her account and she wants to invest her money with forex trade. She says she's been doing mutual funds, but the rates are poor. She says, is that a good line of thought? She says, please help me out. So let's help the lady out here.
Okay, do you want to go?
I think you should go since you're the
Yeah,
lady.
you should go,
You're the
Loretta.
money lady.
Yeah.
So first, ordinarily, if you were trading forex, the normal way forex is being traded, 200,000 naira might not be enough for you to make the required gains. You might not. Banks are trading forex. There's a whole new. There's a pool of people trading forex. So the only way you would ordinarily make a lot of money is if you invest a lot. However, because this last week as well, there have been new, I don't know what to call them, network marketing organizations that basically tell you, okay, you pay something amount, you pay like, I don't know, 20,000 naira, will teach you how to trade. And then aside trading, by bringing in more people, you get money from the nets, from the chain, the ladder, and what's going on. I know 200,000 naira will be enough for that. However, I don't know how well that works. I don't know how they've managed to, synthesize network marketing and forex trading in the same boat. But I'll advise that if that's the option you've been looking at, you should carry out proper research and see if network marketing is for you. But aside that, trading forex by itself with 200,000 naira will get your money lost in no time.
Oh, wow.
And
Money
it's
will
really
simply vaporize. Some sort.
to have that, lose all your money in one transaction, pretty much.
Okay. All right. On the final lap, we have a couple of questions here that kind of go on the entrepreneurship route. So we'll just take them all in that relay. So the first person says, guys, how can I attract venture capitalist funding to my business?
Oh, interesting. Well, you got to have a very solid business that has a proven, or a pathway to generating cash, not just income, cash, because venture capitalists like to see cash. So you've got to have a business that can scale as well. So scaling is a business that can grow, have that multiplier effect. So from just making 1 million a month to having the potential to making 20, 30 million a month. So these are the kind of businesses that venture capital firms are looking for. So if you've got that kind of idea, that can serve a huge market, and then serve them exponentially. If you've got an idea or a business that is a new entrant into a new market, or basically just created a new market based on its new product line, and has potential to scale. Remember, I keep saying scale because that's very important. Then you can start to attract venture capital funding. Venture capital funding, the way they make their money is that they get into your business, help it grow, attain a certain level of maturity, and then they exit. And when they exit, usually it's the private equity firms that come in. Private equity firms come in and then take the business to a different level entirely. And then when they exit, the final exit usually can be in the stock exchange. If it's not at the stock exchange, then maybe they're trying to get institutional investors to come in, or more, settled investors who are looking for like proven cash flows, like say pension funds. So if you want to attract venture capital money, you got to have a business that has a path to solid cash flow and can scale. If that's the kind of business you have, then you're one step away from attracting venture capital funds.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so another guy who's in entrepreneurship line says, as a lot of entrepreneurs have sprung up since we embarked on safety restrictions, how would you advise them to apply themselves now, particularly with the new normal? What are the key ingredients to succeed?
All right.
I feel the first thing is that you must be open-minded, you must be flexible, you must be willing to move. So we say that's a new normal, meaning things are changing. And the people who are going to be able to capitalize on this change are those who are able to see the opportunities and jump on them while they're happening. So I think that kind of covers for most businesses. There isn't a one-size-fits-all cap. I can't say, okay, for this industry, this is what you have to do. For this other industry, this is what you have to do, because the government is also thinking of ways to adjust to, economies are thinking of ways to adjust to what is happening right now. So they're coming up with policies. Just move in the direction where things are happening, and
right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So let me see if I can take one more question here. This one is from another Emeka on WhatsApp. Says, good morning, Ugodre. If you are to recommend a mutual fund investment, which investment would you advise one to start with, considering their return on investment? Secondly, what profitable business can one enter into in the midst of COVID-19? Oh, wow. That's interesting.
You really want to make money off me? Well, in terms of mutual funds investing, it's not something that we typically announce on air here because that's tantamount to advertising. However, if you just do a Google search, top mutual funds in Nigeria, and maybe put nairametrics beside your search, it will show you some of the mutual funds that we kind of recommend. And these are the top mutual funds in the country as well. So you can check them out, and then send us a message, and we'll definitely respond to you and tell you which one are our preferred mutual funds. But yes, there are mutual funds that you can invest in, and those are the ones that we have on our list. That's Mr. Shagman. I can see him.
Oh yeah.
Your team finally came top 4. I know.
Yes,
you can see.
That's all the rest.
He's trying to bully me out of the studio first.
I know, that's what they do all the time.
Okay, we have like one more minute. There's this person whose question kind of has like an honest, sincere undertone to it. He says, I bought 2 delivery motorcycles and was about to launch a delivery business before last week's NIPOST memo. He says, please, what do I do?
Well, hold on. Hold on. The memo was released, but after the outrage, people, they haven't said anything about it pretty much. The memo was, what the memo carried rather was that licensing ranges for international organizations are supposed to start from 20 million naira, then for small SMEs supposed to start from 250,000 naira, which is higher than what was existing before. However, after the outrage, they kind of put a cap on it. So just hold on and see what plays out in that direction. That's what I think.
All righty.
Yeah, and I think the minister also sort of denied it in a way that, like, look, I didn't approve this or something like that. So, like Loretta said, just hold on a bit and let's see where this takes us to.
All righty. Thank you guys for being available, and sorry for the little technical hitch we had at the start of the show. I'm hopeful that I will not have to do this next week. So it should definitely be back here with you. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you. Bye, Lagos.
Yeah. Bye. All right, that was Everyday Money Matters on Lagos Talks 91.3.